In order to live a more quality life, you must start with habits. As a man, you're being constantly programmed and told what to think and what to do. You're being told how to make money. You're being told how to date. You're being told how to socialize. You're being told even what body standards you should like and what you shouldn't like, and that settling in your life is okay. But if you want to go beyond this and you want to actually create a life that you want to live and have freedom, you must create habits. It all begins with habits. And in today's video, that's what we're going to talk about. I'm going to give you 5 very easy habits that are going to make your life infinitely better the moment that you use them. And these are habits that anyone can do. You don't need to be a master of self-improvement. You don't need to have this perfect mindset in order to create these habits. And these are mindsets that you can use at any time, no matter where you're at in terms of how much money you make, no matter the relationships you have. You can always start somewhere, and that's what these mindsets are for. So they're going to close the gap between where you are now versus where you want to be in the future. So the first thing I want you to understand is, whether you like it or not, you've created a series of habits for yourself that are either helping you or hurt you. Because most people think that habits are something that's created only when you're doing something good. A lot of people believe that habits and routines are only good things, but there's also bad habits and routines. In fact, everything you do in life comes down to a habit or a routine. The way that you brush your teeth, whether you hold the toothbrush with your right hand or your left hand, depending on when you brush your teeth. Do you do it in the morning and at night? Do you do it in the middle of the day and at night? Do you do it in the morning and middle of the day, or all three? These are all habits. When you go to bed, what side do you lay on? What do you do before you go to sleep? Do you read something? Do you scroll your phone for 20, 30 minutes or an hour and then go to sleep with your phone in your hands? What are the habits that you're constructing? A lot of people think that habits are only good, but they aren't limited to good. The habits are either going to help you get to where you want, or they're going to set your life back and keep you stuck in the haze. There's a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear that I suggest everyone reads, and it's an excellent starting point to understand the idea of habits and the world of self-improvement through building specific habits and specific routines. And this book fundamentally changed the way that I live my life. I'd suggest everyone check this book out. It's incredible, and it's truly one of the best, most transformational books that I've read. The number one habit that changed my life that you can use is writing daily. Now, your mind is the key to life. Your mind is where your potential lies. And it's not your most powerful tool, depends on how you look at it, because your most powerful tool is going to be money. But your mind is the key to unlocking your true potential. Because your mind is the key and it contains so much of your potential, and your future is based on how you leverage your mindset, it's so important that you exercise your mind like a muscle. The gym is important. You want to exercise your muscles. You want to get in shape. Hell yeah. But your mind is also a muscle that you can exercise, and you can get better at using your mind by understanding your thoughts. My entry to business and the way I made my first money was I built a dating coaching business, and I started teaching men self-improvement and communication skills. And at first it was really rough, but because I had the right mindset and I stayed consistent and I worked on it for a very long time, I was able to build my business to 6 figures and teach men all over the world, teach them dating skills, communication skills, psychology, relationship building, things like that. And then after building that business, I ended up helping people build sales teams, which means I worked as a closer, the lead closer for a team, a very popular dating company. I started working with them and helped them get their sales process better. And I was able to make a lot of money in the process. The reason why I've been able to do this and build this career for myself is because of the power of my mind. I wasn't limited just to the opportunities that were in front of me. I was able to create the opportunities that I wanted because my mind acted as a key to help me unlock my potential. Writing also gives your brain superpowers because your thoughts are not constricted. Most people go through life with very constricted thoughts. They're limited by what their brain can give them in the moment and what their brain can do. And the reason is because they don't exercise their brain as if it were a muscle. But something I started practicing is every single day I would write for 30 minutes. And I mean religiously. I would wake up and I would write. Now what I do is I wake up, I walk my dog, I go to the gym, and I come home and I write. I write for 30 minutes to an hour, whether I'm writing out YouTube scripts that turn into longer blog posts, or I'm writing content for my email newsletter, or I'm writing content for my private community, writing information and knowledge. I do this consistently, and it keeps me in tune with my mind. So right now, you may be thinking, I don't have much to talk about. I'm not an influencer or a coach or a consultant. I'm not running a business. Or maybe you are running a business, but writing is just not a part of your flow. If it hasn't been, it needs to be, because because writing is the way that you exercise your mind and you build a relationship with the way that you think. And you start to think as a high value man, not only because you just believe you're high value, but also because you put words on paper or words on a laptop, words in a note document, and you see these thoughts that are going in your mind, you see them come to life in front of you, and you build a different relationship with the way that you think, which is extremely powerful to do as a man. The second habit that I suggest every man does is cutting out alcohol. I wanted to find the word vice because this is an important word that relates to cutting out alcohol. Vice, V-I-C-E, is defined as a weakness of character or behavior, a bad habit. There are 3 common vices: porn, alcohol, and scrolling. Those are the vices that I've identified with the men that I work with that keeps them stuck usually. It's porn. You consume porn and you get artificial dopamine hits that you have not actually worked for. So you see women on screen naked and you're like, this is amazing because your biology wants that, but you've done no work or self-improvement to get that. Number 2 is alcohol. You go out with some boys and you have a good time, you have fun, but it kills your training the next day. If you want to go to the gym, which you should be doing, you can't go train the next day. It messes you up mentally, kills your brain cells, literally. Not if you're doing a little bit, it's okay, but it slows you down. It takes you away from a very purpose and principle-driven life. And then number 3 is scrolling, looking at shorts, looking at reels, looking at TikTok, scrolling the feed, looking at what your friends are doing, using this device here, this device that actually holds you down and takes you away from the goals that you want, unless you use it as a tool and use it as something that's helping you, not something that's harming you. These are the 3 common vices. The reason why I think alcohol is so important is because if you cut out alcohol, 1, you make better decisions in your life. It gives you more control over your daily structures. And when I cut out alcohol, and I've been sober for quite a while now, I haven't touched alcohol in about 9 months. When I cut out alcohol, I was able to interact with the world from a more holistic place. Holistic meaning I had more choice and control over my actions, and I wasn't guided or influenced by primitive behaviors. What alcohol does is it dumbs you down and it lowers your inhibitions. Although it can be fun, and it can be great to have your inhibitions lowered, you want that to happen on your terms. So right now, I've learned how to socialize, I've learned how to meet girls, I've learned how to go on dates, I've learned how to connect with people and have a great time while being sober and still lowering my inhibitions, but it's coming from a place of control. So I also have more control over my daily structures. So I'll go out with some buddies, we'll go out till 3 a.m., I'll have an amazing time, I'll meet some cool girls, we'll have a great night, and then I'll go and I'll train at 11 the next day after getting a solid 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Whereas if I drink, even if I have 1 or 2 shots, I can't get up and train the next day. There's guys that I've worked with who are so talented, they're successful men, but because alcohol is a vice that they haven't completed, and it's a vice that they haven't conquered, they'll have a solid week of 4 or 5 days of work, and then they'll want to connect with women on the weekend, they'll want to go out and socialize, and they're not able to have control over how they do it simply because alcohol is a huge factor. So they go out, they get wasted, they get shit-faced, and the next day they can't train, the next day they slack on their goals. I don't want that to happen to you. The thing is, if you cut out alcohol, you're still going to be able to perform at a high level, even after being social, even after going on dates, and you'll be able to focus on training and health habits, which makes you better all around. So alcohol isn't the worst thing in the world, but I found that it's the number 1 vice to cut out, simply because not having alcohol be a factor in how you communicate with people, how you socialize, how you build relationships, gives you so much power. It's so empowering for you as a man, and it literally gives you social superpowers to create the kind of relationship dynamics and the kind of experiences that you want to have on your own terms. The third habit that every single man should do is training 4 times a week. And notice how I didn't say the gym. Training just means physical activity. You need to engage in something that's physical. If you master your body and you master your placement of your body in the world as it relates to other men, as it relates to you walking through the world, if you feel good in your body, you're gonna take a step in having control over the direction of your life. I'll give you a very interesting example. There's a client that I was training here in Budapest on a long-term contract. We were working together for 6 months on dating, relationships, and communication, which means that we would go out to the clubs, to the bars several times a month, and we would meet girls, and I would train him in person on how to communicate, how to lead, how to get sexual with women. I would break down his interactions in real time. I would coach him on all these different aspects of how he was dating, how he was communicating with women. And he started getting pretty good. He started getting a lot of numbers that were solid, so the girls would never cancel on him. He started setting up 3 dates a week pretty consistently, which was amazing. In a month, he would have 10 to 12 dates pretty consistently. But there was one thing that he was always missing. He always felt socially anxious. And towards the end of the work that we were doing, I gave him an exercise. I said, I want you to go start training boxing, kickboxing specifically, and jiu-jitsu. And when he heard this, he was like, that's weird. Why do I need to do this? How is that related to dating at all? But what's interesting is this guy is very successful. He's a very successful guy who's made a lot of money. He's done really well for himself in his career. And he started getting results in dating, but there was always this underlying anxiety that was there. The reason the anxiety was there is because he didn't feel in control of his body when he placed himself in chaotic situations and chaotic environments. Every man needs to have a level of control. The moment he started doing jiu-jitsu, started doing kickboxing, what happened? He started interacting with women even more fearlessly, started interacting with other guys, started working on his network even better, and became socially free. So like I said, if you master your body, you're gonna take a step in having control over the direction of your life. Depression, as an example, isn't a thing if you take control over various aspects of your physical reality, which means you need to go and train a minimum of 4 times a week. Don't make excuses, go train. I go in the rain and I go train. If it's raining outside, if the weather's terrible, I'm still gonna go train. It's that important to me. One of my old mentors, Owen Cook, he would always say, I'd rather die than miss a day in the gym. And although I'm not that hardcore yet, I'm starting to feel like that. I love working out. And maybe for you, it's not gonna be working out. Maybe it's just gonna be running every day, or maybe it's going to be doing jiu-jitsu or getting into a martial art, or maybe it's going to be playing sports. For me, it's a combination of playing sports, doing a bit of fighting, and then training in the gym. I'm in the gym 5 days a week minimum, some kind of physical activity, definitely lifting weights 4 days a week minimum, and maybe another day where I'll do a bit of fighting, or I'll go play basketball, something active, something physical, because I want to be in tune with my body. So pick a few days, pick 4 to 5 days. Don't make it less. 3 days is not enough. Pick 4 to 5 days that you dedicate to working out. And don't say that you're too busy. Maybe you're successful and maybe you've done a bunch of things, but I'm also successful and I find time to go to the gym simply because we make time for the things that we think are the most important in life. So if you've been slacking and you've been avoiding mastering your body and fully owning your physical reality as a man, now is the time to go ahead and do that. Habit number 4 is what I call airplane mode. And this is one of my favorite habits. Let yourself win from the beginning of every single day and then end the day with a win. Make technology your ally, not your enemy. This is a mistake I see so many people making. I've seen it a lot with girls that I was dating in the past, where I'd see a girl, me and her would hook up, we'd stay together, same place, she comes over to my place, and she goes to bed and she's just scrolling on the phone on TikTok before going to bed. And I'm like, babe, if you want to grow in life, if you want to control your reality and you want to thrive, take TikTok not off your phone, but don't go into this before you go to sleep. It influences your dreams, it influences your sleep cycle, it influences your circadian rhythm, all these kind of things. Technology fucks you up so badly if you don't use it as your ally, but you use it as your enemy. And it can be your enemy without you even realizing it. And I see a lot of men making this mistake too. I see a lot of guys out in the club, out in the bar, and they want to meet girls. I can tell they want to talk to chicks because they watch me doing it, and I see the look on their face, this look of envy, this look of, I wish that I was doing that. But what's the problem? Technology is their enemy, so they stand with their phone out scrolling instead of actually connecting with a woman. And then if they do connect with a woman and she rejects them, what does he do? He goes back on the phone, right? And he separates himself from the world. So you don't want to give your day up to social media. You don't want to give it up to emails. You don't want to give it up to entertainment. And don't end your day with distraction. Stay present, brother. Stay fucking present. Just for a half an hour before bed, keep your phone on airplane mode. This is going to train your mind. And the thing is, there's little activities that train you to be successful. This is how self-improvement works. It's not all in one. It's not like knock off everything at one time, but you have to treat your mind as a powerful tool that you train if you want to use your mind successfully. Habit number 5 is +1 networking. And I love this habit. I know I say that about all of them, but if you are serious about business, if you're serious about improving the way you socialize, the way you communicate, the way you build relationships with people, specifically other men, and dating as well, +1 networking is an amazing habit. What it is every week you invite a new person for a coffee or a drink or a virtual chat every single week, and you don't miss 1 week. So 52 of these. You invite a new person out for a coffee or a drink or a virtual chat. And before you crucify me, because I know that I said I don't drink, and I hold to that, I don't drink. When I invite people out for drinks, I don't consume alcohol. Usually I'll get like an espresso tonic or something like that, or I'll get a black tea. I don't drink alcohol, but I still invite people out for a drink, and they can grab what they want. Sometimes they don't drink, sometimes they do. There's this old saying that we all know, we've all heard, that says your network is your net worth. And the saying honestly isn't always true. I don't agree with this, because for some time I had a pretty shitty network and I was still making quite good money. And then other times I had an amazing network and money had dipped. But overall, having a powerful network is going to help you in life. I know people who are very successful and their network comes as a product of their success, and they just stay at home working all the time, and eventually, because they have more money, they build a better network. But I also know people who have built an amazing network and leverage that network to make money and make more connections. So it all depends on how you want to do this. I'm not going to say that your network has to be good or else you will never make money. That's not true. But your network, if it's powerful, is going to help you. I always make sure that anywhere I go, I'm building a small inner circle that's going to help make me better as a man. Right now, I'm part of a private club here in Budapest. That's where I live. I'm also part of a club in Barcelona. I have an amazing circle of friends and people that are around me that I connect with that can really help me grow. And the way I build the circle is through action. So here's what you want to do. Make a call to action to one person every week. And this is a practice I do myself. This is not something I'm just giving you because it seems cool. I actually do this myself. Every single week, I connect with a new person and I invite a new person out to do something once per week. This is a call to action. So it could be online, it could be in person, inviting someone for a drink, it could be connecting with someone online. What it sounds like is, hey bro, we should talk more about finance. Let me know which day works for you to grab a coffee and connect the next week. Some of the clients I've gotten in sales, I've gotten through this. People who have ended up joining the program for someone that I'm consulting for, or people who have ended up working for me directly or working with me directly, it's been because of this. Hey man, the sales stuff you were talking about, your process and all the strategies you've got going on, let's sit down for a coffee and talk about it next Thursday. How does that sound? Just like that. It's a call to action. When you keep doing this over and over again, inviting people out to things, saying, hey, let's go do this activity together. When you do that more and more and more, you begin to build a circle of people in your life that are uplifting you and helping you grow. So it's really important that you do this. To summarize, so you understand these 5 habits, I want you to make them clear. I want you to understand them clearly. Number 1, daily writing. Take 30 minutes a day just to write and work on your mind. This is how you're going to build those mental muscles of working on your values, working on your beliefs, working on your ideas as an individual, as a man, and putting them out into the world. Write every day. You don't need to have a business to do this. You can just sit and journal and write about anything that pops into your mind, but take at least, at bare minimum, 15 minutes to write. You want to be writing. Number 2, cut out alcohol. Alcohol is going to kill you slowly. And there's people who love drinking and they do it in moderation. That's cool. I've had both phases where I was drinking crazy amounts where I actually needed help. And I've had other phases where I was drinking for fun and in moderation. And I found in totality, in its entirety, not drinking alcohol has been way better for my life. And I've learned more as a person. I've gotten more control over how I socialize than when I was drinking alcohol. I'll always default to not drinking because there's nothing good that comes out of that, because everything that I can do while drinking alcohol, I can now do it while sober. So if you're able to close that gap and you become the same person while drinking that you can while you're sober, there's no need to have the alcohol. Go ahead and cut it out. And then number 3, train 4 times a week. This doesn't mean it has to be in the gym, but you should be doing some kind of physical activity about 4 times a week. You want to consistently do this. Work on your body through the week. Don't just sit in a space of stagnation and doing nothing. And then number 4, airplane mode. Before you go to bed, put your phone on airplane mode. 30 minutes before bed and 30 minutes when you wake up. You don't need your phone to be ringing and throwing notifications at you all the time. Just before I go to bed, I have my phone on airplane mode 30 minutes to an hour before. And when I wake up, I keep my phone on airplane mode 30 minutes to an hour afterwards until I get my first win. And then number 5 is +1 networking. Every week, invite a new person to either virtually chat with you, hop on a Zoom. Hey, let's hop on a Zoom and connect, or grab a coffee or grab a drink. Someone who might add value to your life, or someone that you could add value to their life. Do this, and you're going to find that your network expands and your money expands over time as well, especially if you have something to offer and you understand how to leverage sales to an extent. That's why learning high ticket sales is so great. Learning how to leverage sales, learning how to leverage communication and offers to make money for yourself and help other people make money and build a life that you want. I'll see you on the next one. I hope this made sense. I hope that you continue growing and thriving. Peace.